that gives you hope, great, you need it. I've really got to start back in 1973. I was diagnosed with leiomyosarcoma. It is still incurable today, and I still can have a recurrence. I have not. Back then, I was raised a Christian. I was in Sunday school. I was in church every weekend, very devoted. But at that time, all I thought I had was the Bible. And I picked it up, and those these and thous and all these names all of a sudden meant something to me. And the Bible was the greatest book that I ever read. And so that's what got me through that part. And I would, every day, and I was sicker than a dog, every day I would get up and I'd say, Lord, just give me one passage in this book, because I couldn't read the whole thing. Give me one passage to get me through. And I'd open the book up, and if that didn't do anything for me, I'd get another page. And that's how I got through. I had two little bitty kids, a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old at the time. And I thought, well, God, and they were adopted. I don't think he would have given me these children if he wasn't going to keep me alive. But I was given only a 10% chance to live at that time. Got to go through my little notes. I don't have this computer. In 1989, I was diagnosed with an ocular melanoma. I was living in Connecticut at the time, and this doctor said, there are 2 places that treat this cancer. Will you go? One's in California, one's in Boston. Well, yeah, when I say, no, I'm not going. No, I said, yeah, get me there. So I went through the ordeal of getting a little button sewn on the inside of my eye. Then I went in for proton beam radiation treatments. You walk into this room, and there on the wall was a great big chart. And it was the chart of death. It showed the scale of the size of your tumor and how long you were going to live. So you were facing death at that point. At that time, I got involved with a book called Love, Medicine, and Miracles. I would tell everybody to get this book. It was by Bernie Siegel, and it gives you hope. He teaches you how to do meditation, how to do visualization. It's hard, but you just keep working at it, and you keep trying, and those 5 minutes become 10 minutes that you're able to do it, then you're able to do it in 30 minutes. It works. It calms you down. I wish I was doing it now, but then it just so happened that Bernie Siegel lived in Connecticut. He had a weekend retreat. I go to the retreat. It was wonderful. And they divided us up into groups, and they spent time teaching us to do the visualization and the meditation. Then comes 1996, and that's when Mr. Meso came into my life. I didn't have a PC, and I thought, I'm never getting one. I'm too old. I mean, I can't learn this. So I would go to the library and would read all this old stuff. And that's all I knew. It said the longest surviving people get their lung out. Well, I'm all for getting it out. Just go in there and chop whatever it is out of there. Well, it was kind of hard to find anybody to treat me. And at that time, I had been volunteering for Block Cancer Center, which has a buddy system, and MD Anderson Network has a buddy system. And I said to them, okay guys, now I need somebody for my Meso. So the first person to call me, and some of you, the doctors may know this person, Margie Levine was living in Boston, and she was treated by Dr. Sugarbaker. She at that time was a 5-year survivor. She lived either 13 or 14 years and passed away recently, the last couple of years, maybe of a tumor on her heart that was caused from the radiation treatments that she had during her Meso. But she did not die from Meso, and she was doing a lot of lecturing. She has a book called, what's it called? Surviving Cancer. And that's a very good book for you to have as a reference. Then a Houston man called me. Now you got to remember, I'm healthy, I'm working, I'm out on a wave runner, I'm having a good time. I'm supposed to die, nobody's helping me, and he calls me, and he's a 5-year survivor. And I'm like, now wait a minute, if he can make it 5 years, why can't I? So my attitude started to change then. There was a woman from Cleveland also that was a 5-year survivor that called me and gave me hope. MD Anderson's where I was going. They didn't have much treatment. I was asking my husband the other night, how many doctors did I actually see? So we were trying to count them up. and I've got Linda Beat. I know I saw 9, and probably more than that. So at Christmas, he gave me a PC, and there wasn't much on Meso. I mean, you can pull it up, there was nothing. Now, you guys, you can put in Meso, and it's all over the place. But I ran across Roger Worthington's website, and it was some sad parts on there where all these people were listing what had happened to them. I mean, this got me really teary-eyed. But I read it, and I go back to it, and I read it, and I studied it, and I wrote down everything I could, and I started researching. But I still wanted that lung out. Then friends are a good resource for you. You know, your friends will say, oh, I know somebody that's got cancer, and they did this, and this is a cure, and if you tried this, the green barley, or who knows what all it is. And you think, yeah, right, you know, I'm supposed to die, but they got a cure. So she's saying, do you get CNN? And I said, no, I don't get it. She said, well, I saw this fellow in there from Austin, and he's got mesothelioma, and he's doing a trial with oncanase in Austin, and afterwards he feels pretty good, and he's going out, and he rides a bike for 4 or 5 miles, and he's doing really well. And I thought, yeah, right, you know, she doesn't know anything about cancer. Next day I was MD Anderson, sitting in the lobby waiting to get my chest x-ray. And it was noon, and the news comes on, and it was CNN. Here's this guy riding his bike. So I got my pencil out, and I'm writing like crazy. I get home, and I called Lone Star Oncology, Dr. Costanzi, and I made an appointment to go see him about oncanase. The next week, I was to have an appointment in Philadelphia with Dr. Sterman and Dr. Kaiser for the gene therapy. Well, Dr. Costanzi thought, hey, that's going to be better for you. My deal's not set yet. You go see what they have to say. So that next week, we went up there, and my lung had been tapped. Well, back then, I know a lot of people now get their lungs tapped, but that eliminated me from trials because the lung was tapped, and that's like cement in there, and they can't get the tumors once that happens. So they were saying, hey, you know, we really don't have the gene therapy going yet. You're not going to qualify, but we don't see healthy people like you. You need to go to New York or Boston. I had friends in New York, so that's where I went. Sloan Kettering and Valerie Roosh. Had surgery. And, you know, should I tell you all this? Well, they cut you open from here to back here, and they take out a rib, and she finds out, cuts through my diaphragm, and finds out, oh, she's stripping my lining off, I forgot that. And she finds that I have it in my peritoneum, but she felt that I had 2 primaries because she couldn't see anywhere in the lung where it came through. So she sews me up and gives me 6 months to live, but she left the lung basically to let me die easier. Well, I was pretty ticked because I wanted that lung out of there. I didn't care. I wanted that lung gone. But I didn't get a choice. You know, you're under the anesthesia and you don't get a choice. So I was in pretty bad shape. And we got home, and they want me to go back to MD Anderson to get chemo. Well, I go in there, and they say, oh, well, we can't see anything on your CAT scan, so we don't have anything to compare it with, so we're not going to treat you. So I got on the phone to Dr. Costanzi in Austin, and we started oncanase treatment, which is being injected with leopard-frog eggs. You're not, you know, you got some symptoms, but you're not real sick like if you're on cisplatin. It's a lot different. You kind of get used to it after 4 years, because I was on it for 4 years. You kind of get used to it. You kind of get used to the little flu feeling you have, and maybe you're tired, maybe you're not. I was working every day. I was a physical therapist for a surgeon. I'd wear ice packs wrapped around me with my little lab coat on. Nobody knew. I'd switch to my heat packs. Nobody knew. Because the pain from that surgery is not too pleasant after to take a rib out. I joined ACOR. Everybody says ACOR, I say ACOR. And there wasn't a meso group. This is a great reference for any type of cancer you have. You can go in there and join what they call a listserv. And it's not a chat group. You get individual email messages. And I joined the lung group. Well, no one had meso. But I would keep track of what they used for nausea, what they used when their hair fell out, what they did for back pain, what they did for leg pain. And I'd keep track of all this in case and when I needed it. Well, eventually, Giles Freeman, who started that site, sent me an email message and said, Jill, don't you think it's time we start a meso group? 4 of us started it, then there were 7, and now there's 250 in this group. And they're all caregivers or relatives or the patients themselves. They're in there. Then Mark also has a very good site where you can meet people online, make connections, have support, be able to talk to people that have been through what you've been through or what you're going through, give you different ideas. And it's really good to talk to other people that have been through this. And ADAO has a special place in my heart as John McNamara Foundation also. There are just so many more places, and so many law firms have so many websites that you can go and read all this information. 2 books I really want to talk about or tell you about are alternative methods, and both these fellows were told there was nothing for them. And the first one is Rio O'Connor. He's in our group in ACOR. And his book is called They Said Months, I Said Years. And he's lived 7 years with doing nothing but alternative methods. The other one is Paul Krauss. And I'm not quite sure about Paul. I think 9, 10, 11 years. He's not been quite as long as I am, but he's really close. And his book is Surviving Measles and Other Cancers. And also, he has a teleconference. And you can sign up for that. I don't know how often it is, but you have to go to the website. And you can go in there and get in a teleconference, and he and his wife, actually, you can ask them questions and talk to them. Another important, very important resource is your family. I have 2 daughters, Brittany and Tisha, and I have 4 grandchildren. And like someone mentioned earlier, they didn't think they were going to see their kids grow up or go to school or whatever. My children were 2 and 3 years old in '73, and I didn't think I would ever see them married, go to college, let alone have grandchildren. And now, in May, I'm going to be going to Illinois to celebrate my first grandson's graduation from high school. So, you know, it's out there. You just got to keep going. Another resource my daughter came up with are animals. And you hear that animals keep you alive a lot longer if you have an animal. You know, they've got them in the nursing homes and all these places. So she shows up with 2 Siamese, Oriental red-tipped Siamese cats that now have been around our house for 10 years. And they're our new babies, or our old babies. And here I am. So is that the answer? Is that why I'm still alive? I don't know. But most of all, this man right here. He's fantastic. And he has traveled the road of cancer with me for 36 years. He bakes, he cooks, he does the laundry, he totes me back and forth, he gives me shots, he cleans all the spots where I got wires and tubes coming out of me. Stand up, you deserve it. Anyway, he gives me hope and keeps believing that I'm going to make it. And next month, we will have been married 46 years. I had to ask him because I have a hard time remembering dates. But the one thought I want to leave you with, attitude is what it's all about. And it's your life preserver. So hang on to it very tight. God bless you.